we constantly hear about the insurance. Insurance, is it insurable? New products, right? New materials to make it insurable and able to handle whether it's earthquakes, fires, hail, storms, whatever it is. And then it's the speed and timing. There's so much components that is part of development. And I'm really excited, like everyone hears about AI all the time, is new innovative ways of, I always say we heard about smart cities, smart something, right? What is that? And how does each one of these construction development parts makes it work? So Rick, I'm going to start with you because you're with the traditional, with the stick built. If you don't mind introducing yourself with superstructure, I know you've been in this industry a very long time.
Yes,
And if you don't mind sharing the stick built part, the traditional default part of our construction development industry.
yes, sir. Well, I'm Rick Gallier. I've been in the business since '95, long time, I guess. Um, been through stick built all the way to modular, uh, stick built buildings out of wood or steel studs really do help out with a lot of different things. You can basically get a stud anywhere across the nation, and there's more skilled labor available to that, and you can phase the jobs as you wish. The downsides of stick built is, of course, you can go only go so high with stick built between 4 stories to 5 stories, depending on what you're after, and then you can pedestal up to whatever. But whenever you pedestal something up, you lose the effectiveness of the stick built, and so you go a different route. Uh, the cons, you know, labor. Really, right now, it's trying to find labor. Material prices fluctuate, and also the weather. You know, is going to be open on wood. So those are the factors, and also waste. We today, you know, there's a big factor of waste. In different areas of the country, waste is dealt with harshly, such as California. Not trying to say anything to you guys, but you know, it's just really getting rid of the waste and how you do the waste is a huge factor in a project too. So that's me in a nutshell.
Yeah, Rick, if you don't mind sharing your background, superstructure, since I know you are an expert in this, can you share a little about superstructure and yourself and really, I think this is your family business. So
Yes, sir.
please share about that, about superstructure.
So superstructures, we're on in our 36th year uh this year, and we are small but mighty. We do a lot of pre-engineered metal buildings for larger companies. We go after design builds for all our clients. About 75% of our clients are returning clients. We do business in all the southern states. If you take a line from Richmond, Virginia, to all the way to let's say Northern California, like San Francisco down, we do all the work there, and also we do specialized projects for our clients anywhere else in the world. So we're looking at projects in Africa right now. You know, the Middle East, kind of iffy right now, but we are looking at projects there, and also Ireland and Scotland.
Perfect. Thank you, Rick. And please put your information so people could reach out to you if they're
Yes,
interested
sir.
about what you're talking about or just consulting. We hope to create opportunities, but knowledge base here. And Eddie, I know on the next is modular, right? We heard modular now. I know for me, maybe 5, 6+ years, modular. If you don't mind sharing kind of your journey and also your project, but who you're working with, that's why I find out pretty interesting in China, probably one of the largest ones, right? Modular built. So if you don't mind sharing you and maybe your project modular and the company you're working with.
Sounds good. Thanks, James. I appreciate it. And yeah, my name is Eddie. I'm the founder of EGX Investments. I've been a commercial broker for over 10 years and financial services and estate planning background even longer than that. Today, I have a team that's specifically curated for real estate development and investment, and we focus primarily on hospitality, multifamily, and also residential as well, uh, primarily in Southern California markets. What's going on right now and why we've decided to deep dive into modular is that several things have occurred that's kind of created a perfect storm. Uh, Now, while I'm not saying to negate traditional construction in its entirety, what we're dealing here, especially in California, are that costs are rising, labor is constrained, and timelines are incredibly unpredictable. And so, what that basically presents ourselves is that there is uncertainty that directly affects whether our projects pencil or not. This is what led us into modular construction. And as Jim alluded to, modular is not new technology by any means. The industry has existed for decades. It's prevalently used in other countries. But what has changed, however, are the economics. So again, rising labor costs, supply chain volatility, and longer drawn out construction timelines are forcing developers like ourselves to rethink how these buildings get delivered. That's why modular construction is becoming far more relevant today than it was 10 years ago. So how does it work and how do we work as a company and development team? Well, we work with global modular manufacturers, one of which is CSCC Green Tech. They are part of one of the largest construction groups in the world. And their system essentially industrializes construction by moving most of the building work into a controlled factory environment. And so picture a factory that basically integrates the steel structure and framing, the wall systems, the plumbing and electrical, interior finishes, bathroom units, things like that. By the time the module arrives on our site, over 95% of the building is already assembled, and the construction element becomes primarily just stacking and connecting these modules like Legos. And so where does modular work best? Well, it works best particularly for hotels, multifamily, and also residential projects because the units are repetitive. Instead of building each room individually on site, the entire units are essentially manufactured in these factories. And when they're ready to be installed, they're installed quite rapidly. And so for our project, we have a hotel project located in Hollywood, right off of Sunset and Cahuenga. While the podium levels are being built, such as the lobbies, amenities, retails, restaurants, we use traditional means to construct them. The residential and the hotel floors are above them are being constructed in the factory at the same time concurrently. So it's a huge time value proposition. And in which case, when they're ready to go, we stack these modular units. It's not just about being cheaper. And when I say cheaper, I don't mean sacrificing quality. I mean just basically offsetting a lot of that labor overseas where costs are cheaper. The real advantage for modular is time. And so, just to give you an example, if a construction timeline is shortened by, let's say, 6 to 12 months, that means for a project like ours, we get earlier project completion. We get revenues generating a lot quicker. If we have construction loans and or debt, we have lower carrying costs. And overall, with the grand scheme of things, the big picture is that we get better investor returns. And so how I always tell my investors and my partners this is that even if we open 6 to 12 months earlier, that will significantly improve the overall project's IRR. And it's not just about making a project a good deal, it's about making projects feasible that otherwise wouldn't pencil out under typical construction timelines. So, to give you a little bit of background about the systems that we use, in our modular systems, we adopt type 2 and we use type 2 steel, which is non-combustible. You guys are probably aware of the Palisades and Altadena fires that use traditional wood. And so when the fires happened, everything lit up like a matchbox. So we will never go with that type of build again. Which is why we adopted the type 2 steel structure. And then we also incorporate microfiber cement board systems, which are a lot more durable, weather resistant, and overall cost efficient. So, as a company, we apply this modular construction across several disciplines, but mainly in hotels and multifamily housing, where we can rinse and repeat to scale. We have also curated some residential properties as well to address the Altadena and Palisades fires. But all in all, Our focus is integrating these modular technologies into our real development projects and not just discussing the concept. The project that James had alluded to was the hotel, of course, on Sunset that we mentioned. This is a development we're doing together with our investor partners. It's a 13-story modular building, which will be the tallest modular build in the state of California. And a project like this is exactly where modular construction can compress our timelines while maintaining design flexibility and quality. By connecting the global manufacturing scale, which is CSCEC, and utilizing and leveraging their labor and their resources and their factories, we can then provide the local development execution, sourcing, structuring, and delivering the projects in the US and bring them together for our opportunities. So,
Yeah, Eddie, I'm excited with what's going on globally coming into America, or America going out globally, right? And it's studying and coming on these meetings to understand it. Can you talk a little bit about how big the company is in China? And I know they've done projects around the world. So if you don't mind sharing the breadth, but also then sharing your information, because there are people here or listening that may want to be involved in modular, right? And getting involved, since we know there's a lot of noise, there's modular, but who are you partnering and working with, and why did you choose this company?
Yeah, so I actually stumbled across this company through a friend by accident because he had been in the buildings and materials industry for 2 decades. So he's very, very well connected in China. The company is called CSCEC, and geopolitical ties aside, they are devoting their full entire factory to provide modular units for us, essentially because we have a mutual benefit. They want to break through into the US industry. We have projects for them. And so we chose to use CSCEC because prior to them opening up their modular division, they are, and I believe they still are currently, the largest construction group in the world, over $300 billion in revenue. And James, you know this, I've been going back and forth to Asia practically every month for the last 3 years, sourcing materials, finding investors, and we essentially have their endorsement to help push forward their modular products. And so that is our contact. And they have a full-fledged factory out in Shenzhen. It's quite spectacular. If any of you want to go check it out, I'd be happy to entertain as well and introduce you guys.
Eddie, thank you. Please put your information, and this is exciting, having and being on these meetings to connect. Because like you said, and I know the next speaker, many, many decades and times of figuring this out, but instead of stumbling and on mistake, we're being methodical of bringing the experts here so you can learn. And Dr. Suzuki, know Sammy for a long time. He was a stick builder out of New York. If you look, he did a lot of projects out of New York, moved around, did things around the world, brought in capital. But Dr. Suzuki, I mean, can you tell me? I mean, I love that with you being a professor now. Can you tell me your journey? Because you did all of these things in addition to bringing in the money. Why 3D printing? What is 3D printing? You know what I mean? So if you don't mind sharing your journey, because I know you've done a lot, and then why did you choose 3D printing and really kind of go all in into this?
Sure. Thank you, James. So my name is Dr. Suzuki. I've been in the real estate development and finance industry for 42 years. Like James says, I'm a professor. I used to teach at NYU, Columbia, and Baruch, and John Hopkins, and now I'm teaching at Rhodes University. I teach real estate development using 3D printing. My doctorate is in 3D printing. I actually stumbled on this when I was living in Cambodia in 2018. I made a proposal to do affordable housing for the Cambodian government, and the means and method of construction was 3D printing. But like he said, my background was a stick builder. I've built over $1 billion in real estate, 6,000 apartments I've built, and I took that knowledge and applied it to 3D printing. And what happened along my journey was my mentor during my doctorate, he basically taught me about 3D printing. So if you don't know who he is, it's Barak Krasnevis. So Barak Krasnevis is the inventor of 3D printing. So we ended up buying his company. So we are the technology that everyone is licensing through us. We have 100 patents. So a lot of the 3D printing companies are using our patents, but we're the original guys of 3D printing. Now, the reason why you didn't hear about us is because we were mainly working for the Department of Defense, the Navy, and the Marines. So we're in government contracts. We weren't allowed to go up to the public market. And April 2025, we were released, and we were allowed to bring out our model of a 3D printer. And that came out roughly around September 2025. So you're going to see more of us, and we'll probably stop sharing our licensing with a lot of the 3D printing company. So what's 3D printing? It's basically printing using an ink. And that ink, what we use is concrete or mortar. And it's extremely fast. It's 9 times faster than stick building. It is faster than modular building. We're talking about hours. So we literally built an ADU in our factory. Actually, Aria came by to visit our factory in Gardena. So we're based in California and Texas, and we built the ADU in 9 hours, and it was printed. Now, the difference between the stick, the modular, and the 3D printing is that our cost is higher if we're only doing 1 unit. So we can't do anything less than 100 units. That's why we stay away from the small single-family homes. It's just the pricing just doesn't work out. If you get over 100 units, our pricing is about $85 a square foot. But if we do 1 unit, it's almost $185 a square foot. So you see, we don't have the economies of scale and the speed. And that is the reason why we stay away from these smaller projects. We mainly do government projects. So we do affordable housing, multifamily, data centers, and warehouses, and mainly stick to the government RFP contracts. That's our main business. We don't go out to the public because we were government contractors. And we already have a track record with the federal government and the state governments. So one of our big projects is in Foley, Alabama. We're building assisted living there, and that's 131 units there. And then we have a project in Botswana, Africa, and that's for 10,000 units. So you can see we're actually dropping our costs when it's like 10,000 units, 1,000 units, because we can bring in 50 of our printers there and drop down our costs. The biggest cost we have is really the concrete, the ink, and that is what you're seeing right now is everyone's trying to drop down that cost and use their own formula of the ink. And if we can get in the next couple of years that ink to a lower cost, you're going to see 3D printing be the alternative means and method for rapid construction. So that when I mean rapid construction, I'm talking about extremely fast buildings. So we can build a total building in about less than a month on site. But we need to have scale because these printers are expensive. They're not cheap. They're from $500,000 to $2 million. So you saw probably Icon. They built 100 units in Austin, Texas, and they literally built the entire project in 9 months. And that was with Lennar. And you're seeing the big builders go into 3D printing. So D.R. Horton has their own printer. It's probably going to be released in the next 60 days. You're going to see D.R. Horton printing. Lennar is already printing. You will see us printing in the next 90 days. We'll be printing. And you'll see the reason why is, one, it's fireproof. We're hurricane proof. We're tornado proof. We're termite proof. We're fire resistant. Actually, we're fireproof. We're earthquake resistant because of the mix. So whatever we mix into the cement, we can make the product flexible. We can also make it bulletproof. by the mixture that we put in. That's why we were working for the government. These were used to build barracks, these printers. So that's what I do.
Wow. Yeah, Sammy, let me add on a little more on this. So it's been around, how long would you say? 30, 40, maybe 50 years from government contracts?
1939.
1939.
1939. The technology was invented in 1939. The first patent was in 1941, but it was mainly the government involved with this. So it was mainly being tested by the government. But then they stopped the funding because of World War II, then the Korean War, then the Vietnam War. They rebooted in roughly the 90s, the early 90s. So you can see there's a huge gap on 3D printing, but this was invented a long, long time ago. And then it took off in 2018, another gap. So you could see that people didn't realize that the cost of labor was going to go up, the material costs go up. So the reason why it's been switching to 3D printing is exactly what Richard was saying, is that we have a problem with labor. And same as us, as a 3D printer, because we're new technology, we have a problem with labor. So that is the reason why I created the university system with my partners. So we teach at USC, we teach at John Hopkins, Rhodes, and soon to be University of Texas, San Antonio. So a lot of the universities are adapting it, but it's still too slow. But that's how you'll see a lot of, for example, programmers who are losing their jobs at AI. We need those kind of guys. So the ideal candidate for us to run our machine is someone with a mechanical engineering degree with some programming knowledge and construction knowledge. And that's hard because that's skilled labor. And just like Richard said, skilled labor is extremely hard. We basically have to poach from other companies.
Sammy, if you don't mind sharing information, because for people to reach out to get into this new industry, and as many people watched, technology, the industry changes, right? But it doesn't happen overnight. There's always a transition period. It could be
Right.
sometimes years, maybe AI gets compressed into months. Or we all know in the construction and real estate, especially commercial, for a while we were thinking in decades, right? We were thinking, okay, it's slow to adapt. But now I think all of us are seeing, especially with AI, used to be years, now it's in months. I mean, for what I'm doing, and I love what you're sharing, and I always learn as much by listening to all of you because I went into tech. Now, tech, we're doing site locations of the land. Some of the technology companies I'm a part of, from the 100 home builders, and we're doing our Series A or getting bought out, is to bring in all that knowledge and database of where you can build. So I think, Sammy, with you, Rick, and Eddie, right, with the largest partnerships and stuff, we will start identifying, finding out from the top home builders, top 100, who would buy what you want to buy, and then having a proposal at a pretty institutional level of what we can do, right? But this is all of these things working together, from finding the location, entitling the location, right? What's the right build, financing, construction? I mean, all of these that you guys are experts, and this is why it's exciting to get in. And Sammy, I love what you just said. Everyone's so afraid of their jobs being gone. What do I do? Sharing this knowledge of labor, and let's go into that with all these changes of, and I'll go still back to you, Sammy, and then we'll go through the group. With the jobs, what are you looking for with this new kind of industry coming in? Obviously, if you get economies of scale, the patents and everything coming down, maybe subsidies, right? Because we want to build affordability, then we could really mass produce it. So what type of talent are you looking for right now?
That's a great question. You're going to see with 3D printing, the workforce is going to change. So, for example, I was in Melbourne, Florida, and I was looking at a print for the Habitat for Humanity. Now, what shocked me wasn't the printer. What shocked me was I was at the construction site, and 50% of the workers were women. That was a shocker. In my industry, when I was doing stick build, 90% of the workforce were men. This is a big game changer because we were mainly just pulling from males because it's heavy lifting. literally the workers there were in lawn chairs with laptops and not flip-flops. They were, OSHA requirements, following OSHA requirements. But what I had an epiphany in my when I was doing my paper, that the workforce will slowly change to disabled veterans, women, and the male workforce. To print a job, a construction job, is 4 people is needed. Highly skilled, technical, with either mechanical engineering or structural engineering degree, and the ability to understand software. So that what the job that we did was roughly one woman, and she ran the whole entire job, and 3 guys. And she ran the printer, and she ran the robotic arm, and she did a great job. Took us 9 hours to build the ADU. And we just saw that there's going to be a whole new shift to the workforce. Before, women didn't get into construction because it was dirty, it was unsafe, and also required physical strength. That's no longer going to be the case. And these jobs are high paying. These are high paying jobs because of the requirements of education. So these are not low paying construction jobs. These are going to be high paying construction jobs. But now it's open to the disabled and to women. And that is a game changer in construction. And I mean, I think Richard could also attest to that you rarely see women in our industry.
And that's a perfect segue. Rick, do you mind just sharing that? Because everything transitions. We all know that from
Right.
when we all saw Blockbusters or Kodak to digital.
Wow.
It's all transition, but it's good to know where's the transition, where's the handoff, because it's not going to go away. And Dr. Suzuki, Sammy, you've been a stick builder, right? It's not going to disappear overnight. There is a period.
No,
So
no, it's going to take us 10 years to go through a full transition. But construction's very slow to adapt to technology because, there's nothing wrong with stick building, but we are having a problem with the shortage of labor, and that is a huge problem. That's what's really driving our labor. The stick building is driving the cost, is that we can't find skilled labor. It's very hard because the baby boomers, the Gen Zs, they're retiring.
They're gone.
They're gone. And
Yeah.
we don't have replacements because the millennials and the millennials are not coming into the business. They are going into technology, and we're just not seeing them coming into industry. But with 3D printing, we're now seeing a shift because it's technology, and we're hoping that we're going to generate interest from women and the disabled to go into this, because you can still be in a wheelchair and run a construction site. You've never seen that. We've never seen that in our industry. That's a game changer.
Rick, you want to add to that? This is, like I said, a perfect segue
Yeah.
of what you're seeing, how you're adapting. Granted, like Dr. Suzuki, not going to happen overnight. We all know that.
Right.
But what are you seeing, and how are you maybe even transitioning, or what are you doing right now, Rick?
Well, we are transitioning to more of a modular feel for things. We are getting walls and stuff like that pre-built, and using more cranes and stuff like that to get things done a lot faster. What Sammy's mentioned about women, there aren't very many women swinging a hammer. I see women in the project management, superintendent kind of roles now. My wife is working with I'm sorry, my ex-wife is working with a large place right now and she's a senior project manager, and she has 3 other women working for them.
We have that in common, by the way. My ex-wife is in construction
Yeah,
also.
and she rocks too. I mean, I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
Well, she didn't get trained by me, but not saying.
Oh no, I trained my ex-wife.
Yeah, but she does a good job. I mean, I get calls from her all the time. Just
Yeah.
but women are getting more into construction day by day. But more in a supervisory role, project manager, like I said, superintendent. So they're not. I don't see many people hanging steel, cutting
Yeah.
2x4 and stuff like that. With skilled labor, like I said before, and Sammy reiterated, it's hard to find. I mean, people go for a dollar more someplace else, or 10 cents more, or hours, or whatever. I mean, it's insane. People poach people all the time. And also the people right now, the millennials don't want to work with their hands. It's a shame. Right now with these NCCER programs, which some people are familiar with or whatnot. I mean, a welder's getting 80,000 dollars right out of school right now. They're desperate, and also the workforce is usually from other countries, such as Mexico, China, other places like that. And it's getting difficult for people to find those people
Yeah.
who want to work.
You
Yeah.
know,
Uh,
Rick, it's that. Go ahead, Sammy.
sorry.
Well, if I had to do it over again and talk to my son before he graduated from college, I probably told him not to go to a college and go to trade school
Mm.
and go into specifically plumbing and electrical, because that can't be replaced by AI.
Yes, sir.
It just can't be. And honestly, a lot of these guys do 3 years of apprenticeship. They start their own company. They're making millions of dollars. A plumber and electrician are making millions of dollars because of that bad of the shortage. And I would have told my son, you know what? Don't get your master's, go into trade school, because what Richard and I are seeing is like, wow, that's huge opportunities for what I call them youngins, the Gen Zs,
Yeah.
right? And since I'm an old fart, I'm like telling them, hey, you should go into trade school. And that's what you're seeing right now is a lot of cities where they have uh, high unemployment.
Mhm.
They're creating trade schools in that high unemployment area to train them in these trades. Because even if we go in modular or stick build or 3D printing, all three of us have the same problem. We can't get good skilled labor.
And let me add this, and Rick, now you understand why we're doing the construction development with our Renaissance group. We are working with contractors, right? Because why go into debt? Sammy, come on, your son, well educated, could go anywhere. But you said, looking back, right? How we all had to do it is go down a certain path. Now it's a different path. But Eddie, I mean, I'm going back on labor. That's why maybe you're manufacturing, doing 3D as maybe the bridge. And we know once the company is this big, maybe you introduce them to Savvy's company, maybe they buy it as a multi-billion-dollar company out of China and do it. But that's what happens, right? You talk to everyone, you take that huge amount of money while there's an arbitrage, and you just buy certain companies and businesses. So Eddie, maybe you can talk about maybe this is the bridge, right? And because the company is so big, big companies buy small companies or buy innovative companies.
Yeah, yeah, that's actually quite fascinating, Dr. Suzuki. Thank you for sharing that. I'm definitely willing to look into that more and make the introduction to CEC. I don't think that's definitely something they shouldn't overlook, for sure.
Well,
Yeah, if you
Eddie,
want to see
kind of,
our printer, we're in Gardena, California, in the LA area. That's one of the places we manufacture a printer. So if you're in LA, right? So you can
Yeah,
just drive
in
by,
Pasadena.
just call me and I can let you go and see our printers in action.
Cool. Sounds good.
well, Sammy and Eddie, well, these are the fun things. Maybe we do a field trip. I love to do on-site projects to
Yeah.
see. And you did this, I know, for Aria. We could maybe next time you're in Gardena do one there. I know there's some people on the East Coast, right, with Keith and everyone else, right in Alabama. I mean, this is what we want to help people, the younger generation, the technology, the innovation, the change. Many people are throwing their hands up, and I know we have young professional groups going, what do I do? And you're right, Sammy. I'm glad you brought it up, and everyone here. There is that knowledge base, but diversity base with women. I love that it's veterans and disabled because it's in your mind. As long as your mind is working, you
Right.
could now program and teach computers and everything. So as we have this kind of final segment, I'll give it to you, Rick, as we kind of go through this. What are you seeing in construction development, being, second, now third generation in a way, your family, of going into construction development the old school way, and what are you doing kind of to adapt? And I mean, what would you tell, I guess, your son or grandson, right, if they wanted to
Right.
get into this business?
Well, that's a great question. I mean, it's just this business construction is not for the faint of heart because of ups and downs. But for right now, we want to work for a longevity. You want to have backlog into where the economy doesn't want to hurt. It doesn't hurt the entire company. So with that said, I mean it's really tough to get deals sometimes when people are just tire kicking. So what I've done is I've stopped tire kickers. We do contracts up front. Uh, we do you know pre-construction activities for per hour, which would saves our clients. And then we roll that into the construction phase in all of our projects. So it makes sense for us to have a win-win, and also we're also value engineering as we go 24/7 on every project. So with that said, it's if you want to get into the business, it's all education, it's all learning, and 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 also some hands-on actually getting into the wood or whatever steel, whatever you want to do. Have some hands-on, some book work really does make a difference in how you structure your company and how you actually interact with everything. Because if you don't have someone, I mean, like a plumber and electrician, they don't get along at all because they're always in the way, right? So you have to be able to kind of work through those issues and work with people. People skills are throughout construction, especially I have to sell myself every day. It's like everyone here, but I I got hundreds of people who do the same thing we do, but we do it a little differently. I think we're honest. We never lie, and you can get to me anytime.
Rick, thank you. And thank you for leading the construction development. I know with Eddie and Sammy, all good friends, right? It's relationships, putting this together. And we have the capital markets. I mean, I think everyone's seeing the verticals. And instead of just everyone trying to get the job, find the job, compete for the job, with our group, what we're trying to do is we're all connected in different verticals, is to open and break the silos down to connect right through a wholesale or a good pricing to just generate business. And fortunately and unfortunately, it goes through technology, but you need credibility of the people with the relationships. So I think everyone sees from Top Agent Nations to Renaissance to CCC to ARIA to whatever everyone's global chamber, right? We're putting millions of people together to create systems and pipeline, but opportunities. And this is where, Rick, now you understand why we're starting this, is to get kids or the younger. What did you say? Call them the youngers or something, Sammy?
Whippersnappers, no.
I call them the youngins.
The
Youngins.
youngins. So we do want to
Yeah.
create these opportunities with technology, AI, where it is that you can go create internship case studies, right, to do this. So Eddie, I know, I've been with you for a very long time, mentoring, watching you from wealth management to syndication when it was back in the tick days to now evolving. So you've evolved and grown up through so many verticals, ups and downs, bumps and bruises. Do you mind sharing now, what your takeaway from just hearing from everyone today?
Yeah, it was great for Rick to share his experience over several generations of construction, kind of pivoting along the same angle as we are. I mean, the big elephant in the room is that there is a labor shortage, and I think we're all addressing it through different verticals. And it was also very fascinating to hear Dr. Suzuki present 3D printing, and I'm also intrigued by that as well. I appreciate everyone adapting to what the industry is presenting to us, and all in all, yeah, it's great to connect with the group and learn from everybody. So
Hey, by the way, the 3D printing, we do a hybrid of modular also. So modular is not going to go away either because we do modular because the modular builders are asking us, can you build these, can you build the walls and all the mechanical together to build on
Right.
site? The main thing we could build on site, the modular pieces that they want. So it is coming together, modular and 3D printing.
yeah, I
Right.
could foresee maybe the podium being done through the 3D, and we can do some of the modular off site and or some sort of hybrid. I could see that mix working very well. Yeah.
Well, if I may interject, what we're really missing throughout everyone is craftsmen. You know, you don't get the trim looks like we did 50, 60 years ago. I mean,
Uh,
there's no craftsmen, craft women, what everyone call it out there now. I mean, you can't get a 45 miter, you know, right now nowadays. You just can't do it. So the craftsman needs to come back. The actual know-how,
Yeah.
the
Well,
education, and all that stuff.
yeah.
if you can design it in Revit, it can be printed. I've
Yeah.
seen prints where they printed a mermaid inside the fascia.
Oh
And
wow, yeah, that's cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, I could print a significant other in the wall, but that's a commitment. It's a real commitment because you break up, the only way to get rid of that wall is a sledgehammer. So
It might be easier. No, sorry.
You know what I mean? I love this, and now I'll give some of our attendees that showed up a chance to ask a question. Max.
Yeah, gentlemen, I'm kind of excited listening to all the stuff that you guys talking about, and I have a set of teenagers, two girls and two boys, and they are very handy with 3D printers. They make all kind of animals, toys, putting things together and all that. And I'm thinking about, once we have that field trip, if you will, if it comes to fruition, I'm thinking about bringing him in and kind of with me to that meeting. At the same time, where do you think is the best place for them to start in this venture right now? And instead of trying to go into college and, get a master's degree in something that, they may or may not use.
Well, if I may, trade schools. I mean, just getting people interested in construction. Like I said before, Max, getting the hands dirty. Like you said, 3D printing. That's just right up Sammy's thing. I mean, just get them interested in the construction field. Once they're interested in the construction field, they can go many different directions. Don't y'all agree?
Sammy,
Yeah.
Eddie,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Yes, I agree. Well, we only have one program in California. It's at USC. That's one of the I mean, sorry, it's the only one because we teach there in 3D printing at USC, and USC actually has the certifications because Dr. Krasnevis teaches at USC, and a lot of our PhD and master's students came out of USC. So, but that is the only program right now in California. In Texas, there's several programs. It's University of Texas Austin, Texas A&M, University of Texas San Antonio. Soon to be, we're starting a program with SMU. So if you see what's going on with the government, Texas is trying to be the Silicon Valley of 3D printing, and they're really pushing for being the main area for academics in 3D printing. So it's sad because the technology was invented at USC, but it hasn't expanded in the other universities in California. So
Eddie, I'll get back to you because I know you're SC grad and very involved in
Yeah.
SC and the alumni. So maybe you could share and reconnect with everyone at the Lust Center, Dr. Green and all of them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Now I'm sure with Mary Palta,
Yeah.
with the minority group or Ross group, but maybe Eddie, say something about SC and plug back in with them. Maybe Dr. Suzuki can do an intro, get you at the top.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
wish I took that class. I used to hang around the fountain right across from Tommy Trojan all 4 years of undergrad. But yeah, I took a more traditional route, went to SC for business school at Marshall, got my foundation into real estate. My family's been manufacturing plumbing and fixtures for 40 years, so that's how I stumbled into it. But I learned all the dollars and cents of how the development and investment work. And from there, I realized, well, if we can't buy the returns in this day and age, we got to create them, which forced me to get MBA into just construction in general. And from there, I tapped into every single trade group you can imagine, from conferences nationwide, seeing how things were being built overseas, internationally. And my education came from just, meeting with people such as Dr. Suki, James, Rick, and just, networking and learning the trade from the people that have actually done it. So school of hard knocks, so to speak. But that being said, there's a lot of information out there. I think they have direct access to them, so they're in the right place.
Thank you, Eddie. Another question, Keith Andrews.
Max, let me tell you what's happening in Alabama, and you might want to check Tennessee. I'm not sure any other state has done this yet, but the state of Alabama, by statutory law, created the Department of Workforce. And the secretary of that department spoke to our chamber yesterday, and he informed us that there are 517 companies in a directory right now with apprenticeship programs for the people coming out of high school. And this is in Alabama. There are 517 companies with apprenticeship slots. So check on Tennessee, see what they got going on. And Arkansas, I guess, since you're sitting right there.
So Keith, good to
Yes.
see you again. By the way, it's good to see you again. The University of Alabama has a 3D program, and I don't know if Walmart just announced that they're building their Walmarts out of 3D printing with Aliquest, and it's in Alabama, and we're building in Alabama, in Foley, Alabama.
Right.
So you're seeing a lot of the state of Alabama investing in 3D printing. So we were kind of surprised to see Alabama had a 3D printing program, and Walmart chose Alabama for their 3D printed test sites for their warehouses.
I'm just letting you know that every trade possible could be an apprentice program with one of these 517 companies that are in the directory right now.
Yep.
That's what I'm saying.
Yep. Walmart's one of them. Yeah.
Keith, definitely reconnect. And this is why we're doing these meetings, is to learn and then connect with each other, go deeper down the rabbit hole and see these opportunities, right? And obviously creating more opportunities for people that have not, like women, into this industry. I love that. Younger people, veterans, disabled. I mean, this is great to put people to work. So I really, before I was very pessimistic, realistic, but pessimistic, like, oh my gosh, what is AI going to do? But you don't know everything, and you need to listen and hear. But Sammy, this is great with all of the people here, is to create these opportunities, build something. And I know within our group of friendships is to maybe create a starter course, right? Let everyone get a sample, let everyone go to a job site and then say, hey, this could work. We're all very connected and around. So if we can start moving the needle, moving the ball a little to get the younger generation and diverse groups or disabled groups, or just people of just adding more value so people could see an opportunity, right? And this group of friends and relationships could put it together. But final words. We'll go back. Actually, we'll go back to Rick and go back and end with Sammy on this. But Rick, final words to anyone else wanting to maybe be in this industry, or any thoughts of yours?
Well, just expect to learn. I mean, being in this industry is not just, oh, there's a 2x4 there. It's continuously learning your craft. Never stop learning. When you stop, you might as well just get out of it. Education is a key. Wanting to do more, it's also a key uh, thing here. Um, and get with the right people who want to work with you and where you really want to excel. That's why I tell everyone who walks through my door, maybe I'm not the right guy to employ people, but I tell them that there's a lot of education here, there's a lot of drive, and that's where you want to be, always educating yourself.
Thank you, Rick. Please put your information in again, Eddie.
Yeah, I agree. If you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. And I learned a lot just on this morning Zoom. So, with all that being said, I feel like, being in real estate for almost 15 plus years, I've learned that we are probably going to be emerging in one of the craziest industrial revolutions in construction. All the developers that I've spoken with, that have done this as long as Rick and Dr. Suzuki are telling me the same thing. And with what I've witnessed in Asia and overseas countries and how fast they're being able to build, I feel like the same thing will occur in the US in the next several decades. And so I want to be at the forefront of it. And I feel comfortable, being a part of this network. And that's my takeaway from all this.
Thank you, Eddie. Please put your information in so people can reach out. Come on, Dr. Suzuki, final words and thoughts. You're not shy of last words.
Listen to James. My final take on this is that our industry is going to change and it's going to start becoming a hybrid. So the main thing is that we really got to focus on driving the cost down, not up, because I'm in affordable housing. So because I'm in affordable housing, my goal is opposite of the luxury housing guys, is for me to drive the cost to about, believe it or not, I'm trying to drive it down to $75 a square foot. And we have done test prints where, for example, we did test print for affordable housing, and all in cost from soup to nuts was $43,000 for 825 square foot print. If we could get those prints down into the 30,000 range, we're going to probably solve the problems of affordable housing around the world. Right now in the United States, it's got 6 million demand, 6 million unit demand. Believe it or not, the biggest demand is California, 3.6 million. They have the biggest shortage of housing in all of the United States, 3.6 million out of 6 million. That's 50%. And that's really sad. And the main reason, it's not construction. It is the building department bureaucracy that drives developers not to go to California.
Amen.
So I'm one of those guys. I don't like going to California because of the permits, and they caused it. They caused a problem because they haven't even got the permits for the 25,000 homes that were burnt down. So you could see it's not the contractors, it's the political bureaucracy in the building department, right? And I think Richard's seen that too,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And we just stay away.
Yeah, well, California is it's $120,000 just to put a plan in there.
Yeah.
$120,000 for a permit. Here in Virginia, anyplace else is like 15,000.
Oh, Richard, Alameda, California, I got a quote from the city, 680,000 just to put in a plan.
Kiss my ass.
Yes, exactly.
Sorry.
We'll leave it.
Sorry.
I want to say the same thing,
Okay.
I would say that, yeah.
But Eddie,
680,000.
you want to add something because I know you're developing and
Sorry for that, Jim. I didn't do that.
Oh man, I can imagine. Yeah, things get drawn out for years here in California. I just duplicate exactly what Dr. Suzuki and what Rick said. So no comments there other than.
Well, everyone knows I'm in California for a long time in the political stack with a lot of good friends. But I have friends in Texas too. Dr. Suzuki, my friends run PATS. with the ultra Christian conservatives. I'm in both sides, right? So I keep my mouth quiet. I just try to help people. So
This is not politics. This is the building department, the building department.
yes,
So understand that the only way that to start increasing affordable housing built is you got to wipe out the building department and put in new people, because they made it a income generator for the city, and it actually went backwards. Less permits are being filed in LA, for example. LA is probably one of the worst, and San Francisco, Alameda are very it's terrible to get a permit there.
Yeah, 2 to
So
3
we-
years.
Yeah,
all right,
2 to
guys.
3 years.
So we won't start bashing on cities, but let's
Yeah, we
find
will.
solutions. So
Yes, we will.
I am going back to LA to meet some of my friends there, but no, this is exciting because it's revitalization of certain cities, products, materials, what we can do to solve the problems. And I know church and religious group, Barbara, I work with a lot of faith-based initiative groups, nonprofit groups, diverse groups. So I'm very fortunate in that stack where, you know, I do have good, like or not, directly to the governor. So let's see what we can do. Let's try to solve the big audacious plan of what we could do in California or other states in Texas. But eventually we know to solve the housing problem, and Dr. Suzuki and our friends, we know we have friends at the UN and other government NGO relationships. So let's solve some big problems together as a group. Let's employ the younger generation. Let's give everyone hope. So again, thank you for joining us on Top Agent Nation Commercial Wednesday. Get involved, and you're going to see more of case studies with these professionals. Thank you, Rick. Thank you, Eddie. Thank you, Dr. Suzuki. Please reach out to them. No better people to meet and get to know and go deeper. But please join us every Wednesday. We look forward to sharing more. Join us with Top Agent Nation Backstage Pass to get much more information. But everyone, have a great day. Thank you again for being and listening, everyone.